Hello and welcome to the morning download market live stream. Thank you for joining. If you've got any questions or comments, then please leave it as I record this. Today, the market is going crazy. The markets have crashed. It's the end of the world. All the paradigms are changed. Everything is different. Is that true, or is that just people freaking out? Let's talk about Deepseek. It's the new AI released from a Chinese company, released from a small company, 200 people. And the Chinese government and Deepseek say, and it's partially state-owned, as I understand, say that it only costs $5.6 million to develop this AI that makes it 100 times cheaper than all of the LLMs, the large language models from the likes of Anthropic and OpenAI. For comparison, OpenAI raised $17.9 billion to make their AI ChatGPT. The difference between Deepseek is that it is open source, so anybody can use it. Anybody can use the code. It's free. It runs on any hardware. It iterates. It questions itself, so it's supposed to be learning faster, which could mean that AI gets closer to AGI at an even faster rate. And however, it is censored. It doesn't answer some things, like you ask it about Tiananmen Square. It doesn't answer things like that. It doesn't answer anything negative about the Chinese government. It has a lot of faulty data. So it's in the early stages. But what has the market freaked out, and we'll look at the data in just a second on what the markets are doing in reaction, is that it costs so much less. What does this mean for a company like OpenAI that is worth at last valuation around $180 billion? What does this mean if this AI from China can do it 100 times cheaper for less than $6 million? Now, there are a lot of doubts from a lot of prominent people, like Elon Musk, for one, saying that this may not be real credible, that the $5.6 million price tag, which has people freaked out. The Chinese government has been known to exaggerate or just lie about their data. And when we have an arms race, an AI arms race coming up, then you can see why they have an incentive to exaggerate what their data is. So let's first of all, before we get into more about that, let's talk about the market, how the market opened in reaction to this. Of course, NVIDIA took it on the nose this morning, down 21%. You can see this line was 9:30 a.m. when the U.S. markets opened. It just tanked, and then it's kind of been chopping sideways, maybe a little bit down since then, because of course NVIDIA provides the AI chips to most of the market. They are the dominant player providing chips in the AI space. Oh, excuse me, sorry, this is the NASDAQ, but it's a very similar story with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA was down 21%, and then this is the NASDAQ, the tech heavy stock is down as well. And of course, this took the whole market down with it, mostly tech stocks. You can see here, this is the market this morning. You can see Microsoft, which is a 49% owner in OpenAI, down 3.3, NVIDIA down 11. It was down 21% at the high. Google down, Amazon down. The tech stocks are down with the exception of Oracle. And then the rest of the market is largely unchanged. The Dow and other indices are about the same, but you can see the tech stocks are getting really hit hard. Tesla down less than 1%. Netflix, after those big earnings on Friday, is barely down. But other stocks like Johnson & Johnson and T-Mobile and Verizon and others are fairly unchanged. Walmart is actually up. So it's mostly affecting the tech market. Deepseek came out over the weekend, and it has been very popular. As of this morning, it was the #1 free app on the Apple iTunes chart. And then you can see ChatGPT is #2 and Threads number 3. So Deepseek is #1. And this came out over the weekend, and the company has already released a competitor or another model. Let me make this a little bit bigger. You can see it's called Kimi, and this might be a little hard to read, but it shows the different capabilities between Deepseek and Kimi and OpenAI and Claude from Anthropic and a bunch of other models. and you can see how well Kimi, and then there's another one called Joran. I wrote it down, but I can't find it real quick. So they've released these 3 models within days of each other. So that's what has the market freaking out. Mark Andreessen, which is he's a very prominent investor, one of the developers and founders of the internet. Basically, he made the internet browser and founded Netscape. So he's very prominent. He's a very prominent investor. He calls this the Sputnik Moment. Of course, Sputnik, for the younger viewers, was the first satellite launched into space by the Russians, and it kicked off the space race. It kicked off a lot of spending by both the Russians and the United States in the 60s and early 70s, and culminated with the United States landing on the moon in July 1969, July 20th of 1969. So a lot of people are saying that this is an overreaction by the market. Some of the good things of this, if this is a Sputnik moment, means that there is going to be an accelerated race in AI between China and the United States, as each country and companies within that country with the country's support continue to spend more and more money. And if it's getting cheaper, as technology often does, it gets cheaper as we go. That means the capabilities of the AI will get more and more powerful, and the cost will go down. And the people that say that this is an overreaction, which I think I'm one of them, also say that LLMs are a commodity. They are not. They're not the level where the value and the wealth will accrue. That will accrue in two places: the apps that lay on top of the LLMs, and we're already seeing some of that, and then the infrastructure plays that are supporting the LLMs, which would be NVIDIA, which would be the hardware makers, the software makers that support the LLMs. The LLMs are a commodity, and it's like the gold rush in California in 1847, where the people that made money in the gold rush weren't the people looking for gold. It was the people that made the picks and the shovels. And Levi's, famous jeans maker, came out of that gold rush because people needed the hardware and supplies. If you look back at the tech boom, I worked in Silicon Valley during the late 90s. And one of the big companies that made all the money was Cisco, because they made the routers and they made the hardware that made the internet go. Whereas pets.com launched in March of 2000, and they were bankrupt by November or December. It was the infrastructure plays that made all the money. So I'll leave it to you. I'll present the information and leave it to you to decide whether you think that this is the end of the world and China is taking over the AI race and they're dominating, and the crash in the market is justified, or if this is just a buying opportunity. And the question I would ask as an investor is, has your investment thesis changed? Does this change anything about good companies? Like Tesla. I'm a shareholder in Tesla. I like Tesla. Is this going to affect Tesla in any way? Is it going to affect NVIDIA negatively? Is it going to affect Johnson & Johnson? If it's not going to affect your holdings or companies that you're looking at, if it's not going to change your thesis, your investing thesis, then you don't have to worry about this dip. It might be a chance for you to buy some great assets. And if you believe that this will lead to more spending as China has cranked up their capabilities in AI, then maybe this is a buying opportunity. I read a book last month, a series of essays about 160 pages long by Leo Scharfenbrenner or something like that. I don't remember his last name, but he was a developer at OpenAI, and he talked about the importance of the upcoming race between the United States and China, and how imperative it is for the United States to be a global leader. And we've seen that from the new administration, all the laws that are being passed, and the IOs or EOs, and what's being announced, and how the United States has really cranked up their interest in AI. And with the we covered this in the newsletter a couple of days ago, or last Thursday or Friday, with the big partnership between Oracle and OpenAI, and how the U.S. is really trying to get in the forefront. And President Trump came out and said that the U.S. will be a global leader in AI and crypto. And we can see that China is responding. So this is going to be really interesting to watch. I think it is great for a lot of the stocks that handle AI and the AI infrastructure plays. And in the long term, it will be great. Over the weekend in Davos, the CEO of Anthropic, which makes the Claude LLM model, said that the advances that we'll see in medicine over the next 5 years 5 to 10 years, could double the lifespan of humans, because over the next 5 years, they will be able to make 100 years worth of progress just because of AI. And as we see more LLMs coming online and the capabilities increasing and things are going faster and faster, I think that bodes well for humanity, even though it's kind of crazy right now what we're seeing with the market. So if you're an investor, it's a little bit scary, could be a great opportunity, but for humanity, it could be a great thing. Adding to that, the progress and the things that are happening in AI is Zuckerberg announced on Friday that they plan to build a data center so large that it would cover a significant portion of Manhattan. This is from the newsletter, The Deep View, at thedeepview.com. You can see here on this map, the data center that they're making is enormous, and they plan to have 1.3 million GPUs. That is a lot. The biggest cluster of GPUs for AI right now is xAI, which is Elon Musk's company. They've got about 200,000. So you see everybody's trying to catch up with Musk with 200,000, and Meta just came out and said that they are going to have 1.3 million GPUs. So that's a lot of money. For comparison, and Stargate is the project that I was just referring to, that is the commitment by several companies to jointly put in $100 billion right up front, $500 billion over the next 4 years. So there's a lot of money being spent, and collectively there's already been spent $240 billion on AI, which is why people are freaking out. If it's really true that China was able to build this LLM that is comparable to OpenAI for under $6 million, and these companies in the US, these tech companies have spent $240 billion, then what does that mean for the money that they've spent? I think it means that even more money will be spent, not less, because they want to stay at the top of their game. There's so much invested in this. They've got to make sure that they are at the top of their game and they don't lose their investment. And it also means that they could potentially do more. They could do more with less, and progress even faster. So I'm just bringing up, make sure that I'm seeing your comments here. This is the first time I've done it. I've done this across multiple channels. Okay, no comments. If you've got comments, thoughts on this, I'd love to hear it down below. And of course, we will be covering this more in the newsletter over at themorningdownload.com. I mentioned at the beginning that there's some skepticism about whether or not China really could do this. And Elon Musk says that they obviously have 500,000 or 50,000 NVIDIA chips. And also the CEO of Scale AI, which makes inputs for AI programs, who is the youngest billionaire in the world currently, which I thought was interesting, or self-made billionaire, not including inherited wealth, says that they have 50,000 NVIDIA H100s, which are one of the two most powerful chips. And they can't say that because of the export controls. So there could be some exaggeration by the Chinese here, which makes me think even more that it's not something that the market should be freaking out about. Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, came out and said that Deepseek is now the #1 app on the App Store, surpassing ChatGPT, and no NVIDIA supercomputers or $100 million needed. So he's talking about how this might change everything, because they were able to do it without NVIDIA and without the $100 billion. And then somebody responded and said, Mark, you take the claims that this was done on a shoestring at face value. And then Elon, which currently he owns, his company owns the largest GPU cluster in the world, like I just said, said, no way. There's no way that they did this without NVIDIA. So I'm taking this with a huge grain of salt, that this was actually done 100 times cheaper. The media, of course, is reporting this breathlessly, that the China was able to do this so cheaply. It seems like a bit of an exaggeration by China, and also an exaggeration from the market that they were able to do this. Let's just check in here on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is still down. It looks like it's calmed down a little bit. We'll see how it goes through the end of the day. So that's the drama, the AI drama, and the reason why the markets are crazy. If you're in crypto, it's even crazier. The AI agents are down quite a bit. But I believe that is the future. The future is AI and crypto combined together to process transactions at the speed of light. But this is a hiccup. So if your investment plan hasn't changed, then stick to the plan and continue to dollar cost average into these good names. One more piece of news in crypto news while we're talking, the number of states in the US that are proposing a strategic Bitcoin reserve is now up to 15. Seems like every couple of days, another one is added. The last video I did last week, we were at 12, and now we're at 15. And the Trump administration put together a crypto team, had a lot of different crypto initiatives, crypto executive orders in the first week, which are all very, very bullish. We're all waiting for the administration to announce a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the country. I think that will take time because there's a lot of processes you have to go through. But if that happens, then the price of Bitcoin, I don't know about the rest of crypto, but the price of Bitcoin will definitely be going up. A lot of analysts are projecting $200,000 to $250,000 by the end of the year, and maybe up to $500,000 if the strategic Bitcoin reserve gets approved. If you're wondering about putting Bitcoin in your portfolio, look at the last video I did, or maybe the second to last one. I'll put a link down below this live stream about the companies and the banks that are recommending putting a little bit of Bitcoin into your portfolio. If you're in retirement and planning for retirement, it could boost the returns and keep the risk down, increase the risk reward. So check out that video. So that's all I've got for today. I love your comments. Let me know what you think. Is this overblown, or is this something that we should be really worried about as a country, but also as investors? I'd love to hear what you think. And let me know if you like this live format or if you like the recorded videos. I'll be doing a lot more of these. And as always, go to morningdownload.com to get the daily newsletter. We've now got 4 newsletters. There's the daily market newsletter, twice a week newsletters on dividends, dividend stocks, retirement planning, and future tech, which includes all technology stocks and crypto. So you can get all of those at morningdownload.com. And thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Bye.